Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad, this is my channel Animate Orange, and this week in 3D metal model news. Starting as usual with Fascinations, the website remains unchanged, however their newsletter did recently come out. Basically the newsletter just said, thank you, because of you we had another wonderful year at the New York Toy Fair, and showed a few pictures of their booth and some things going on, and nothing new that we don't already know about. Really didn't even show the things that we already know about and talked about recently. But that was the title of their, or the opening of their newsletter. No review of any new, or no releases or previews of any new models. Though it does go down to talk about the latest competition or contest, because they have one in every newsletter. So I will read from that. It's a Metal Earth free-for-all. Show us your Metal Earth spirit. 2 participants to send marketing at Fascinations.com. Their creative Metal Earth entry could win a mystery bundle of models. Anything goes this challenge. Rules: creativity, creativity, creativity. Deadline March 18th, 2020. When submitting your entries, please include your full name and mailing address. Winners will have their image featured in the March newsletter. They also show the challenge winners. So congratulations to Matt Givens, and they show the AT-AT walker looks like on snow with, you know, the other AT-AT walkers in the background. Right beside it is a parrot. I don't know if those are related, if maybe Matt submitted 2 pictures, I don't know. And then below that we have congratulations to Melissa McLaughlin, and looks like a Tyrannosaurus partially buried in sand with a Lego figure unearthing it. Pretty neat. I like those 2 pictures. Beyond that, Piececool actually has a couple of new models on their website. A couple of models coming soon. I do want to point out that these models aren't in stores yet. Piececool is, when they're like Metal Earth, they put stuff up on preview. This is coming soon. So a lot of times when I talk about Piececool, the models aren't out yet. It's to let you know to look out for them. They have 2 different models on their website, or 2 new models showing up on the little scrolly thing at the top of their Piececool.com page. Is the Chime Bells and the More Copper Band, or More Copper Band. I'm not sure how to pronounce the English version of that. I'm actually going to go to CodeWookie's site, MetalEarthBuilder.com, because he's already put up some information about it. CodeWookie is really good about digging out some of the information about these Piececool models. He says the English name of the Chime Bells model does not represent well the apparent significance of the model, which is a replica of the specific set called, forgive me if I get this wrong, Zheng Hui's chimes. The set of chime bells is the most complete and best preserved set of chimes unearthed in China, according to the product description's rough translation. This model is made from 3 5/8 iconic size sheets, along with 5 accessories. And, you know, iconics, basically we're going to start calling those premium here pretty soon. That's what they call them. That's what they call their iconics, and Metal Earth is changing to that too. Completed size of the model is 21 by 11.5 by 8.5 centimeters, roughly translated to 10 by 4.5 by 3¼ inches. And I also want to point out that that is a 5 out of 7 stars on their difficulty range, so kind of a medium-high build. Then the More Copper Band appears to be a replica of the bronze desk used to hold wine glasses during the Spirit of Autumn period. Again, CodeWookie cites Google Translation for helping them out with that. It is apparently shaped like a jade bed, whatever that is, and features dragons and tigers around the outside. 4 iconic size or premium size sheets in that model. Finished model is 21 by 5.3 centimeters in size. 21 by 13 by 5.3 centimeters in size, or about 10 by 5 by 2 inches roughly. And this one is listed as a 3 out of 7 stars, so maybe a light to medium, sort of an easy medium difficulty, right in kind of in the middle, slightly to the easier side. And again, I want to point out, because this happens whenever I talk about Piececool models, I often get somebody ask me where to find them. They're not in stores yet. There's not even really a specific release date, just kind of a generic March release date. So they maybe later this month we'll start seeing them in stores or online, possibly next month is my guess. And there's a limited amount of pictures available at this time, so it was just very recently posted. Over the next few days they might have more pictures on their site and an actual release date. looking everywhere else on AliExpress, things are just the same as last week, if not less. I have several favorited stores on AliExpress, and I basically go through them and go to, if they have it available, their news section, and just about all of them's news section is literally blank at this point. I'm guessing stuff just times out after a while and it's no longer showed on news. So things, even Crazy Toys website is just the same as before. There's just nothing going on. Things are just still very quiet over there, and I can just only continue to speculate why. But moving on, I want to talk about topic of the week or question of the week, and I keep just kind of extending on from previous topics. Last week, a couple weeks ago, well, last week I was reviewing the week before where I talked about engines and motors, and kind of moved over to the idea of small engines and the things that use small engines, basically snowmobiles and jet skis and riding mowers. I don't know, just what kind of small engine type things would you like to see? Because we've had a motorcycle, we have got the Kawasaki, but really haven't seen much of anything else. And there's some things that might be a lot of fun, like ATVs or three-wheelers. I personally would love to see some three-wheelers, Honda three-wheelers, though getting something that's licensed like that would be difficult. There'd have to be a lot of people interested to make Metal Earth want to do it. But I got several responses asking, what would you like to see, small engine-wise? Brandon comments, I would like to see an Iconics Cat skid steer with track or wheel version with bucket. I would think it'd make a nice addition to the construction lineup family. Don't even really know what that is. Obviously, I could Google it and look it up. I imagine at this point, if they did something like that, it would have to be kind of an unnamed generic version. I still don't know what happened with the Cat lineup. I mean, honestly, most of it's still there. It's just not called Cat anymore, and the coloring has been changed. But I don't know if they'd be able to get Cat licensed again, but maybe they could do a generic version. Drummer Matt UK, ATV would be cool, or some Iconics dirt bikes. Interesting idea. We have the one Kawasaki bike with another Kawasaki bike being hinted, but dirt bikes, not a bad idea. That could be interesting. Vicky P, things with small engines. Luigi from Cars movie. I figured it would be hard to get another Disney tie-in, or wouldn't be hard to get another tie-in. I had to look that up. Luigi, was that the forklift? Interesting. Forklifts. I'd also love to see a supercart, think Baby F1, or more scooters other than the Vespa. Polaris Slingshot. I know I've hammered my desire for more motorcycles to death, but I'd love to see the Yamaha Niken, a three-wheeler that leans like a motorcycle. Not small engine related. Formula E cars, they've got some complex curves that I'd love to complain about. I've never heard of the Yamaha Niken before, and I did look that one up. That's an interesting through-wheeled bike. I am somewhat familiar with the Can-Am Spyder, which is similar. The front end is a little bit different, but it's three-wheeled. I actually thought about getting a Can-Am Spyder once. Thought very loosely about it, just because I kind of wanted to get something like a motorcycle. But for years with heart failure, I was dizzy and lightheaded a lot, and motorcycles wasn't a good idea. But Can-Am Spyder, or something like the Yamaha Niken, maybe I wouldn't have to worry about falling over as much. Still, though, it was just a thought. But that's an interesting thought. We just have the one motorcycle. Chris Fillmore. Oh man, engines would be amazing. Radial, rotary, the big bad V8s, and of course the VW Type 1 and 4 and Harley engines as well. Didn't think about VW engines, air-cooled engines. That would be kind of interesting. It also kind of makes me think of the Subaru engine. Subaru has that flat 4. I think it's called a flat 4, or opposed 4. Maybe it's an opposed 4 because it's 2 cylinders this way and 2 cylinders that way. And that's an interesting style engine, and honestly that kind of makes me think about rotary engines. Forgot about those. But again, we were supposed to be talking about small engines, but I wanted to include that comment mainly because it talks about Harley engines, which kind of brings me to this week's question, which would be an extension of what we're talking about. I keep saying that we only have the Kawasaki Metal Earth model, and we do have a couple of Vespas, but what about other motorcycles? What other motorcycles would you like to see? The two or three names that pop in my head: Harley Davidson, which was mentioned. I think Yamaha was already mentioned, but what about, say, like an Indian? You know, we do have some classic models, classic car models. I've been working on those. Right behind the camera here is the 31 Ford that I'm in the middle of. What about something older like an Indian? I don't think they make Indians anymore. Forgive me, I'm not up to speed with motorcycles. I don't know much about them. But what kind of motorcycles would you like to see, I guess is what the question is. Leave your answers in the comments below as usual, and I will discuss them next week. I'd love to somehow put up a database where comments and stuff like that could be easily entered into a database to be categorized, and somebody else mentions it. It could kind of keep track of how many times the model is mentioned, so we could see what stuff gets mentioned a lot and how popular and rank it and stuff like that. But don't have the coding skills to even approach something of that magnitude. Anyway, it is the beginning of another month, and I do want to take this time to thank my current Patreon supporters for their support to help continue, or to help in keeping this channel going, helping with behind the scenes costs per se. So I do want to thank Andrew S., Chris Paskowich, George Bell, Giovanni Filardo, Hugh Morrison, Hodge Nielsen, Kamal McCoon, Ken Crowan, Kendall Fargo, Man Hung, Seth Bell, Timothy Green, Timothy Vogel, and Willie Porter. Thank you for your contributions. A little bit goes a long way, and you guys are certainly helping me cover bills behind the scenes to keep things lit, cameras rolling, and editing software available. I do appreciate it. And of course, top priority, models for me to build. Fascinations has been helping a lot with that lately, and I thank them very much. A lot of this has been going behind the scenes stuff, but I have several models in queue after those are done as well. And I am still trying to get to the request. I do want to point out, if you are a Patreon supporter, a request made through Patreon bumps it up the list above all others. I'm going to leave it at that. As always, thank you for watching, and thank you for commenting, and again, thank you to my Patreon supporters. See you next week, if not sooner. As always, keep on keeping on.